Upon further review, the ruling on the field stands. This is the greatest sports podcast, First and Goat. All right, welcome back, boys and girls, to another episode of First and Goat. Pilot episode number 31, baby. Practice. Got a lot to catch up today, so without further ado, Luis, you're going to kick it off. What do you got for us today?
Yeah, I figured we could go around the table here and get your thoughts on a couple of subjects. So the first thing that just happened the other day was, so I'll set the setting, right? So Draymond Green has been suspended indefinitely by the NBA. He has to go through, it sounds like a program before they decide, if he's able to come back and play. So obviously Draymond Green has had a lot of run-ins and incidents in the past with other players and suspensions. So with that said, so that's the scenario. So what do you guys, and I could be wrong, but I can't think of anybody else that the NBA has taken this approach. And the last that I checked in was that supposedly the players union, they weren't even gonna fight that. I think they were just gonna let the due process go through. So why don't we start with you, Adon? What are your thoughts? Do you think they're kind of picking on Draymond Green here, or do you think you think he deserves it?
I think that's a good way of phrasing it. I guess I wasn't thinking about it like that, but I think they're actually being more lenient than I thought they were going to be. More understanding or, helpful. I thought they were just going to be like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? And, give him 15, 20 games that hit the wallet a little bit more than the, 5 games for choking. So I thought that they were just gonna be like, this guy's out of control. So we're gonna send a message. We're gonna go with 15 games, 20 games. So the fact that they said, okay, indefinitely, but now, and even the players, and I think Steve Kerr said we're here to help Draymond, not punish him. It's, I guess, admirable that they're taking this stance. I just don't know if that is really Draymond's issue. Everybody's saying, that he could have things going on at home. What counseling is he gonna get? Anger issues? Is that what he's dealing with? I'm really confused about. And I get it; it makes sense, right? He has to have a problem. But it's not like he hasn't been dirty for the last 5-7 years, and it's just the suspensions and the fines haven't done anything to deter him from being dirty. So that's what I thought. I was surprised, but I think it's a good thing. It's a good message. That's probably part of the reason why the players union is not gonna fight it, because it looks like they're trying to do, the message is, let's do what's best for Draymond Green and not just punish him. Let's try to get him some help.
What about you, Sal?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like you feel have a little pity for him. I could care less about that guy. I fucking can't stand him. I couldn't stand him for God knows how long. It's long over fucking due. I don't give a shit what the fuck is fucking going on at home. What could possibly cause a man to fucking punch another guy in the face for no fucking reason and shit? It's because he's having a bad day at work, and then you're gonna, get over that shit. It's fucking own up to that shit, and it's about time. And fucking, as far as the players union, not fucking, just let it go. Just let it go. It's long overdue. Given it's like I said, fucking. I wish it would have been sooner. It was uncalled for. It's not like the guy was fucking throwing elbows at this guy or whatever. It's a fucking cheap shot. The same shit. And then I can't stand him and other people that want to defend him. He was just in the wrong era. It was 80s and 90s. Those 80s, 90s, all that shit. They were glorified cheap shots. And the only time people fucking did that, they act like that was all game. Hard fouls and fucking physicality. The only time people did that shit because they were sore losers. You know, like fucking Jordan was giving the business and shit like that, and fucking they fucking brought to the floor. Anytime you see a highlight somebody getting whacked, it's because that team fucking was fucking just being so. And that's what Draymond is. He's a little petty little bitch. That's who he is, and that's all he got going for me. He's not a good basketball player. And then fucking God, then just Hall of Fame talk and shit. It's because he's fucking in that team. I don't know. I'm just venting. I'm glad he's gonna be gone. I couldn't have been more excited when I heard that he was out indefinitely. So he's probably be gone for the whole. I'm glad. Fucking just take a fucking shot. Like even then, it's too little for me. I don't want to see that guy ever again. He's a piece of work. I'm just over it. But yeah, like from like being December to the end of the year, he's probably gonna be. I don't want to jinx him, but I probably don't see him for the rest of the year. I'm more than happy for him, But I kind of feel like that's what he's asking for. Like I think he just doesn't want to be there. He sucks. He's getting older. I feel like part of it is like him making excuses. Like and doing this stupid shit to fucking find a way to get out of the game. Like I haven't looked it up his stats or whatever, but from what I've seen this season, like he's dropped off, hasn't he, or is it just me?
Yeah.
The only stat so I haven't seen his stats personally, but I saw this annoying stat that they showed the Warriors record without Draymond Green, but I don't think it's that this season. It might be all time. I'm not even sure, but it's definitely the whole point was that they have a losing record without Draymond, versus when they have him on the court. But no, I haven't seen what his stats are for this season, because it's too early to pay attention to anybody's stats right now. It's my opinion. No, well, you guys were saying that though. That's really interesting. Like I agree with both of you. Like with the Don, I think you're right. Like why now? So I think of a couple things. I think that the NBA at the end of the day is a business, right? So before he's done dirty plays, I think we all know that he's playing that it's dirty, but it could be argued, even though nobody believes it, that it was within a basketball play. Like when they're getting tangled up and then bam, he throws in a cheap shot. But he's egregiously gotten like sloppier. Now he's stomping on people's chests. He's choking people out, defending a teammate. Now he's just, open hand slap handing. I think like he's just getting. They're not even basketball plays. Like what you were saying, Sal. Like back in the day, somebody was being a sore loser. Boom, they throw an elbow trying to clear out, a rebound, or you come down the lane and they fouled you hard, and at the end of the day, it's still a dirty play. But it was like the whole point was like kind of this unwritten rule, right? Like them, like the goon sending out a message, and Draymond Green is like, he's just reckless. Like he's just
there's no point
hurting people, man. So the NBA too has to take responsibilities. Like, hey, we can't just let this guy keep hitting people. But I think they're very smart, and that's why they said, because I thought that was very curious, because I was thinking like you, Adon, like, hey, you're suspended for half the season, or you're suspended 10 games, and the next time you fucking do this, you're gonna be suspended half the season, and if you do it again, you're suspended the whole fucking season, something like that, kind of like how most places do it. But they were pretty slick. They were like, hey man, we're here for Draymond, so you're indefinitely, but they could just in a week be like, hey, we feel like he's completed the program and he's in a good place, so he's ready back to join his teammates and get back to basketball. Like they left themselves open to kind of control the situation, because like he's been doing this his whole career. So how long is this program going to be that he's in? Like I think you're right, Sal. Like you should just be suspended for the rest of the season. It's not a he's a vet. He's been in the league long enough to know when you cross the line and not. And I think he knows he crossed the line, because he was even crying at the podium, apologizing, saying that he didn't mean it. It's because I think he knows that he fucked up, that the guy was too far back and he couldn't make it look like he got tangled. I don't think he expected the guy to be that far back and was maybe trying to brush him off and ended up just catching him with an open hand slap. So no, I agree with both of you guys on that. We were going to say something, right?
Yeah, so his stats are actually not that bad compared to like the last 5 years. His scoring average is higher. His 3-point percentage is the highest in his whole career. He's shooting about 50% from the field, like 43% from three. His free throw percentage is the highest it's been ever in his career. So he's actually not having a terrible season, which is,
He's being a bitch.
like when he choked out Gobert, they said, oh, when Steph doesn't play, he doesn't want to play because they fucking suck. He doesn't want to play. And that I think the percentages of the times that he gets kicked out with technicals or whatever when Steph doesn't play is really high. But this one was at the beginning of the game, right? So I get what you're saying, Sal, and you're right. Like, people make it sound like in the 80s, early 90s, it was just physical and people were punching each other and all that stuff. Like, they make it seem like they weren't even called fouls. Like, oh, that's just the way it was called. They were fucking fouls. People were getting suspended. People were doing it because they were frustrated because they couldn't stop the player. The player was, talking shit to them, like Jordan or Miller or somebody. This was like at the beginning of the fucking game. This guy just has no censor. To me, that's what it is. He's just a dirty player. And I didn't see his whole speech, but yeah, he's like, oh, I would admit it if I did something on purpose, but he also said something like, I'm not a flopper, but I was trying to sell the call. Like, dude, that's a fucking flopper. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
That makes no. And the guy, Nursic, wasn't even touching him. If you guys see the play, he was just like pretending like it's just in his DNA now. I think he just plays dirty that way. He plays to sell calls, and he's a danger to other players. Like you said, Luis, like the NBA can't have this guy fucking flopping and hitting people in the faces and choking people and stomping on people. The other players are fucking making money for the NBA too.
Right. And the NBA just doesn't care because he's just beating up a bunch of centers, But if he hurts a guard, you know what I mean? That is a star, forget it, But he's just, I just think I think he's a dirty player. I think the NBA is pretty slick the way, because I agree with you with that. When I first started, I'm like, hey, that's pretty, like, that's the right word, admirable, But then I'm like, well, man, how come they didn't outline the thing? You know what I mean? Like, this is the way it's going to look. And very easily they could be like, he's going to be suspended by these many games. He does it again, half the season and whatever. Fuck, when I know it's not the same thing when Ron Artest got into that fight, and created that, they came down hard, I know it's not the same thing, but all I'm trying to say is that Draymond has a history. It's not like it's an isolated incident. You could do a highlight reel on this guy, with 30 plays, and I think he's just gonna hurt somebody.
Yeah, and Ron Artest, Dennis Rodman,
Rasheed
Wallace. Nobody ever talked about getting them help. I think Ron Artest, after the Detroit thing, he also got into some kind of fight. I think with James Harden, and they suspended him for 7 games. But nobody was talking about it. Ron Artest was probably a little bit crazy too. If you guys ever heard him talk, like he was actually a little weird. And they never said anything about getting him help. And now all of us, what is Green's issue? Like they haven't said anything like, oh, after talking to him, we've identified, he's going through some, maybe they don't want to say it. Maybe it's too personal. But like you said, Luis, it's just like they're really slick and they're just like leaving it open-ended and we're going to get him the help he needs. Well, what is it? Like, what's going on? Right. Even, Kevin Durant said something, hope he gets the help. Right. Like, everybody's just saying that. Well, hopefully after, I don't know, a week of therapy, maybe they'll clarify.
Right. Exactly. Before we go on to the next subject, Sal, I wanted to ask you, and you too, Adon, but I know that just because it's one of your favorite players, but when you were talking about dirty play, Sal, do you remember, I'm sure you've seen it a bunch of times, you too, Adon, when Karl Malone knocked out David Robinson in a game. And I don't even know the context of it. I don't know if it was in the beginning, middle, end, and what happened after, but he just knocked him out cold, man. And he was just like clearing out a rebound, it was so net. I think he was just posting up on him actually. And he took him out, man.
Yeah, I think he was trying to box him up, but he was throwing an elbow through his fucking chin or face.
Right in the temple.
Yeah, right in the temple.
But who's the NBA player that is that where you're going with it? Like, there's a NBA player that was a fan of David Robinson, and the first chance he got, he went after Karl Malone for payback.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Haven't seen that?
No. I just when Sal was talking about dirty plays in the 80s, that's the first one that always pops up in my head. What are you referencing?
Let me see if I could find
So
it.
so this player, you're saying that the story is that this player, his favorite player was David Robinson, so he kind of was trying to avenge for that play.
Exactly. Yeah, like
I've never heard
his
of that.
favorite.
Never heard
Yeah.
of that.
Let me see if I can find it. But yeah, it was his favorite player was David Robinson. He remembers Karl Malone knocking him out. And you know, Karl Malone played into the early 2000s. Yeah. And this player said the first chance he got, he went in there and he went after Karl Malone's head. I think there's a video of it. I'll see if I can find it as we can keep it going. But yeah, David Robinson, the Admiral's a fucking solid person. Fucking
man.
Strong. And Karl Malone knocked them out cold like if they were a fucking George Foreman.
Right. And even the announcers were like, they're like, David Robinson's out cold. He's like right away, they're like, he's out cold on the floor, and we're gonna pause here, and you know, he'll get attended to, and that's just crazy to me, man. So I think I agree with you guys. 80s, 90s, there were still dirty plays. It wasn't every play, you know what I mean? But I think that they have, over time, as people have gotten more hurt and it's gotten more out of control, the NBA has gotten just harsher. Like, they're quicker to tee somebody up, kick somebody off the game, you know, suspend them for that stuff. And I think before it was just, the only difference is that it was a foul, right? And it had to be, it was a judgment call for the ref if they were going to give you a flagrant or not. And now it's like any little thing that looks rough, you know, immediately they might kick you out of the game or immediately give you a flagrant, you know?
Yeah. Well, if you stop fucking comparing it to Rodman, I hate when people started going, "Oh, Draymond, this this new era is fucking Rodman." No, he's not, man. No. Rodman would never do some stupid shit like that. If he did, you better believe both players are getting technicals or getting ejected.
Yeah.
Throwing sheep out. Yeah, he made a mistake. I remember one time, you know, he kicked the camera guy, you know.
The camera,
but he never took no cheap shots at a fucking another player like that. Fucking hard foul, somewhat. Like, he wouldn't swing at somebody. Yeah, you know, the Pistons, you know, it was a. But
he was an agitator for sure. He was he was an agitator. He pushed other players' buttons. I wouldn't consider him a dirty player. You know, like fucking Draymond Green's a dirty ass player, man. He's kicking people in the nuts. You know, stopping on people, choking people. Like, those aren't basketball plays.
Yeah. Fucking this new generation, bro.
Any luck at that or not?
Yeah, I found that it was Kenyon Martin. I'll see.
Really?
I'll see if I can find out. I'll see if I can find a video of him saying it. But I find out
I remember him beating the shit out of people all the time. Like, well, he was a hard foul guy, you know.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find the video of him saying that.
I wish Kenyon Martin was better. Like, I liked them because I know I'm going to sound like a hypocrite after talking shit about Draymond, but it was because he kind of played like an old school player, but he didn't have a jump shot. You know what I mean? He was limited as an NBA player, but I just like that he was kind of rough around the edges. But I wouldn't consider him a dirty player.
Kenyon?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't remember him being a dirty. The thing about today's thing that you guys were saying, especially the referees, the way it's set up right now with Flagrant 1, Flagrant 2, all that stuff, it's in the best interest to call it that way so they could go to the monitor and figure out if it is or not. Kind of like in the NFL, right? If you call it a turnover, then you get a chance to get it reviewed, and then you get the call right. Even if you're like, I don't think it was a turnover, I don't think it was a fumble. They just fucking let the play go. They call it a turnover, and then all turnovers get reviewed. You know what I mean? Like, it's in they just, I think they do it that way so they could go and review the video and get the call right. Same thing with Flagrant, like, oh, hit in the head. All right, we'll just check it. You know, a common foul most of the time, common foul, but they do it so they could go check it. So I was wrong. He laid out Karl Malone for Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, I see that. And
I thought, did you find it? I
Yeah.
thought it was, I remember that he did it to.
What did Karl Malone do to Isaiah Thomas? Isaiah Thomas,
he went up and he elbowed him, and I think he busted his shit.
Yeah.
Are we talking about?
He knocked out David Robinson, but he only busted Isaiah Thomas's like side. So.
Fuck.
Who's
Are we talking about Isaiah Thomas from the Isaiah
Pistons?
Thomas,
Yeah.
Famer?
Yeah,
Okay.
he said he saw him as a kid. I was just looking it up right now. He said he saw him. He went up for the. I saw the play too. He was going for the layup.
That's funny.
Threw an elbow to his face, busted him open, and I don't know if that was his favorite player, but he just kind of it stuck to him or something. And yeah, he said he was in Jersey. He was with the Nets. He was in Jersey. They were hosting Jazz, and he went for the layup, and kind of the same thing that he swung and he's fucking said he just not, and Carmel didn't do nothing. And he's laid down. Like, that's what happens, man. They're just bullies and shit. You know, you stand up to them and shit like that, and you get whack them.
You know what's my favorite? I'm not a fan of a hard foul, like when people are up in the air. I'm not a fan of that. Like, I'm not like that. Somebody could get really hurt and stuff like that. You know what I do like though? Right. You know what I do like though, and I don't know why.
Tell us.
Is I like when somebody sets a blindsided hard screen and the guy.
I don't mind that. Me too.
I love that shit.
Because that's legal. That's straight up. Hey, man.
It's legal. Like, I love that shit.
You're saying the pick. You said, what do you want me to do? I'm doing my job.
That's on the teammates. The teammates supposed to fucking warn them. Yeah.
It doesn't happen enough, but now and then it'll happen. Somebody gets laid out. I love that shit, man. It's like, but anyway, moving on, guys. The other thing I wanted to touch on, and maybe I just want to get your thoughts on it. Did you guys see what happened? I think just yesterday with the Bucks and the Pacers. So to kind of set the.
Go ahead.
You guys see it? All right, so I just want to get your thoughts on it. I'm going to put you on the spot. So all that happened was that Milwaukee beat Indiana. It was a very competitive game, and I think they were playing in Milwaukee. Giannis, which this surprised me. I mean, maybe, but I didn't. He set a career high, 64 points, but it's also a franchise high, which is surprising to me because I know Milwaukee has had some decent players. I mean, 64 is a lot, but I don't know why. Yeah, Kareem. So that's the one that came up to me. I'm like, how did Kareem never surpass 64? But it's not like 64 is anything to sneeze at. Anyway, so career high, franchise high. All right. The game was a little chippy. You know, it was just competitive. Total competitive game. Milwaukee wins. So at the end of the game, there's chaos ensues. Giannis is very upset. He's running down the tunnel. They're very animated because he wanted the game ball, and the Indiana staff took the game ball, and they said that they took it because they have some rookie that I've never heard of. Maybe he's a good player, but he scored his first bucket, so they're like, hey, we want to get, which I think is pretty customary. So I'm going to start with you, Sal. They call you, Sal. They say, hey, we've seen you on First and Goat. You call it how it is. Who should get the game ball? Should we give it to Giannis or the Indiana Pacers rookie?
Well, I mean, I'm gonna give you two answers. I guess the correct answer or the more popular answer. I guess maybe Giannis more worthy of the ball. He scored. He said career high, franchise high, 60+ points. I know, definitely worthy of the ball. He's probably not gonna get that again. That's a pretty high number. So yeah, Giannis does deserve it, but if you know me, I'm Team Petty, baby. So if I'm in the end, and I can sing it to the guy I'm in the end, they did the right thing. Give it to the rookie, Put some hey, you want to get a little chippy or whatever. I remember that, getting all your brother getting out loud because I remember supposedly got hard, he got fouled hard, and his brother wanted to get off the bench and make it throw a little. Nah, no. I guess the correct answer, Giannis, but for me, Team Petty, baby. Because I being petty, nah, I think the Pacers did the right thing, baby. Because man, I would have never thought about that, man. It's just so great. Because I was like, hey, you know what? Like, who else am I gonna give? I can't get here. You can have the ball. You both deserve. But then I found a little loophole. I don't know if you want to call it loophole or whatever. So I don't know. I'm being petty. For me, the Pacers. I know the majority is gonna say Giannis, but for me, I think the Pacers did the right thing. You don't get a little fucking what's the word? Not show off, but like
bragging rights or kind of
yeah,
like rubbing it in a little bit.
yeah, him and your brother getting out of pocket and shit. Because I don't know if you saw that fight. That wasn't like a hard fight. Like, yeah, he grabbed him and wrapped him up, but it's not like he grabbed him and threw him to the floor and then brothers like getting all worked up. Did you see that? I don't know if you saw that. But
No, I didn't see that.
so
one.
he went for a layup and he grabbed him and he brought him down and he kind of swung him and but he was still holding him.
Who
It's
did?
not like he grabbed him and he swung him to the ground and Tiana's or whatever his brother's name is. You
somebody
gotta work.
from India.
They were holding him back. He was trying to get back in there.
But somebody fouled Giannis.
Giannis.
hard.
So it was
Yeah.
it was right in front of the Milwaukee bench. You know?
Okay.
But it was
The camera, you could see the brother in the background, and it was it's just like South said. It was a regular foul, and the guy was actually trying to hold him up, but it kind of they were
spun
going
around.
fast. So they spun around, and it looked a little bit animated. So this guy jumped up, but I wish we could watch the video. And it was so funny. He jumped up and acted like he was gonna run, and this guy kind of like half grabbed his arm, and that was enough to hold him back. I think the guy just wanted to, and it could have just been a thing where like, well, I'm on the bench, I can't even. But it wasn't all that for.
I don't know. I see that. Hey, you want to get stupid or whatever. I don't know.
All right,
Let me think about it. But I'm petty. I'm team petty, baby. Too.
Indiana, the nameless rookie gets the game ball. What about you with that?
They'll teach him a lesson. They'll teach Tianis a lesson.
Yeah.
So I think part of the reason that they were petty as well is they were already, the Bucks had already won, right? And he had already broken the record. He had already, 58 was the record. But he got like another dunk towards the end when the game was over and there was like a few seconds left and he was still in the game and he dunked it on them. So I think that pissed him off. I hear people saying that this is a good sign for the in-season tournament because they also had a chippy game, and that it's kind of like it's evolving into a little rivalry that started from there. Giannis scored 54 on them earlier this season, so he's got 54 on the Pacers and then 64. The thing that I'm gonna add even a third thing to this that you guys didn't know about. Or maybe you did. So Giannis actually said that he wanted the ball for Dame because Dame passed Kyle Korver for fifth in the whole time 3 points made.
What?
So Giannis is like, oh, I really wanted the ball because it should go to Dame. He's now he's fifth all time. People are saying he wanted it for himself and he's like going ready to fight motherfuckers. And then the Pacers are like, hey, well, it's tradition. You give it to the rookie when he scores his first basket. So I don't know. This ball going into the fucking Hall of Fame, like.
So that's so funny you say that.
I actually don't know if that is a real rule that rookies get the game ball.
Written rule, yeah, it's like
it is.
Like that's just like I think it's just. And to be honest, I don't even know if they do that for every fucking rookie.
I would say, I like the rivalry, but if we're just talking about what's just is just, the ball should go to Giannis.
Okay. So we got
that's nothing tough for guys. Giannis, and then I forgot too the whole Giannis, the way he reacted, and he was running to the top like, get bro, like just hey, you know what? I would have said, just give it to him. If you would have sat down the press conference and then like, you know what, and he's like, man, I'm kind of bummed out, this is why. And I think Pacers are enough. Like, you know what, fuck it, give it to him, make him sweat a little bit.
Well,
but yeah, I forgot that too.
They gave him one, right? And he says that it's not the game.
It's not the real one. So he's even upset about that. He goes, I know what it felt like. It's not a game ball. I think they gave him just a basketball.
I love it. I like some petty shit.
There you go. So,
but how do you know it's not that one? He's like, I just fucking scored 64 with the other one. I know
what it feels like.
The other one feels like.
So I'll tell you real quick, what the way I would do it, the way that it would never happen. The way that I would do it, I would give it to Giannis because that's the the bigger accomplishment, the franchise record, career high. Fucking go display that at your house, and then if you're gonna cry about it, the rookie, you're gonna bitch about it. and if you fucking become a Hall of Famer, then Giannis has to give you the fucking ball back. Like, that would be my rule. You know,
There you
you
go.
do something in your fucking career and it's worth having your first 2 points, you know. But if you're just bouncing around, like, I'm sorry, man, that's Giannis's ball. So that's the way I would do it. But
Plus,
the
they
NBA
got other balls, right? So
right?
I get it. Like the one that was played with is special, but if I give that one to Giannis, give the other reserve ball to the rookies, like, hey, that ball
There
was
you
there.
go.
You know,
There you go. Right, exactly.
same game.
And I don't think Dame should get a ball. Who did he pass up supposedly? That's bullshit.
Kyle Colbert, fifth
Well,
place.
that's pretty impressive. On 3-pointers or just scoring?
No, on 3-pointers, just on 3-pointers made. So
Holy
he's
shit! Look at fucking Dame, man. That's surprising. Because what
He's
else
still-
did fucking Kyle Korver do but shoot 3-pointers?
right. It is impressive. That's why Giannis wanted to give him the ball. I wonder if he still gave it to him now that it's the wrong ball.
Yeah, you take it.
Oh, man. All right. So I wanted to touch base, you know, on Draymond. I wanted to touch base on Giannis. And I've seen this, and I'm not trying to start shit. I'm not trying to, because I think we're having a good time, guys.
Here we go.
I don't
Here we
wanna-
go. Here we go.
I don't want to start, but I'm curious what you guys think. I'm just surprised, but I won't even. So the Lakers won the in-season tournament. It's something new that the NBA did. I liked it. I thought it was great. The games were very competitive. They were very entertaining. The players were engaged. So no. So they won and they routed the Pacers, who had they beat the Celtics, and then they beat Milwaukee to get there. So they were playing. The Pacers have been playing very well. They get routed by the Lakers. Lakers win it, and so okay. Let's start with you, Adon. So it's new, and it just started this year, and the NBA is obviously promoting it, and you get a fucking banner because you win this thing. And so, what do you care? Do you care? Do you not care? Are you indifferent? So the Lakers, they said they're gonna display the banner because they won the fucking tournament. It's a real thing. It's not a made up thing. Where do you stand on it? And I guess what I'm trying to ask is, like, do you think it's okay for them to display it? Are you against it, or are you like, I really don't give a shit? You know?
Man, that's a good question. So let me ask you this: for the soccer, in season or side tournaments that they do where they mix the teams from different leagues, do those teams hang banners for those?
I think they do. Yeah.
So if the whole point of this in-season tournament is to kind of build that up, kind of like what the soccer teams do out in Europe, and the Spanish league plays against the Italian and against the England and all that stuff, then it makes sense. The way I see it in the long run, maybe right now it just seems petty, right? Like, oh, this is a new thing. It's a winner take all kind of game, so anything can happen, right? Like in a 7-game series, most of the time the better team's gonna win unless there's injuries or something like that. But in a 1 game, anything can happen. So some people are gonna give less credit to that. But in the long run, let's say 20 years from now, that this evolves and it keeps up, then it's gonna mean something, right? I think if it develops and it creates good games, rivalries, all that stuff. So the other thing is, I think that the players know, especially guys like LeBron and Steph Curry and all these guys, they know that they need to sell the NBA because, like Sal was saying, this ratings and all that stuff is bad for ESPN, is bad for TNT, because they're gonna have to pay more to broadcast the games. But for the players, that's what they want. That's gonna get them more money. So I think this is why they Steph and James and KD and all of them, they acted like this is a big deal. because they want the NBA to be popular, because they want players to make more money. So I think going along with that trend, keep on acting like it's a big deal so that it could be a big deal, so that it could create revenue, so that it could create more money for the players.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. What about you, Sal?
I mean, you gotta treat it like it's a big deal. That's for sure. I don't know if you want to get the banner. Get the banner up. You know, like I think you gotta sell it. You know, because if you don't care, you're not putting any.
Mhm.
You're not invested in it. Why should the fans and the rest of the league and care? So like, yeah, they at least try to sell it. I know people are gonna give shit or like, it's just a fucking NCAA tournament, boom, another fucking Mickey Mouse ring and all this shit. But like, what do you want to do? Do you want them to care about this or not? Like,
Mhm.
Is there a ring?
no, it's not ring. But you say, like the Mickey Mouse ring about the 2020 bubble. They could, it's a Mickey Mouse ring. And now it's a fucking cheap banner. Like you got to try to sell it. They say with time will tell. Nobody gives it, or they fucking get their TV contract and they don't care a fuck about it afterwards, and they could take them down. But I think for the time, if you want to sell it, you gotta put it up there.
Mhm.
You gotta be happy about it. I get it. It's just it's not the NBA Finals, right? Because that's that's what we're watching, right? To see who wins the NBA Finals. That's what's gonna matter the most. And then you see the Lakers celebrating stuff like that, but who knows what goes behind glass, behind doors. Like maybe they are told, hey man, whoever wins, you gotta sell this shit, like you gotta seem excited, but like, yeah, they said you damn if you do, damn if you don't. Just fucking enjoy it. It was entertaining. It's one thing if you wanted and nobody cared or they have fast tournament, but you said those games were good. Those games were good and one and
Yeah.
done at the end. The knockout stage that was pretty. And I think what is it? LeBron's what 8-0 or something like that in the last uh
Elimination games.
elimination game or something like that. Other than that, something.
Winner take all.
Yeah, winner take all games. Yeah.
Not elimination. So because he's been eliminated, right? He's been
So what does
swept.
that mean?
In the
Winner take all.
winner take all means it's tied, and whoever wins.
Oh,
so game seven's then.
If he's down 3-1 in a series, then it's not winner take all because he would have.
Oh.
It. You know what I mean? Like winner advances, loser goes home.
I gotcha.
If he would have won and he's down 3-1, he's still not advancing. So it's not a winner take all. He still needs to win 3 more games. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I forgot what the stat was, but yeah, you get what I'm saying.
But that is the stat. It is then on his last winner take 8, winner take all games. So he's won whatever last game 7s he's played. He's won them all. He's won this one the tournament. But I mean he's been swept, right? So he hasn't won every single elimination game.
I gotcha. That is impressive.
Hey, by the way,
yeah.
So we were talking about Giannis and now Lakers. Would you say that Giannis drives to the basket more than LeBron? About the same, or like what would you say, Luis?
I feel like he drives more.
Like what? LeBron, like what? Sure. Like you give it a percentage? Like what? Like.
So I feel like Giannis drives like to the basket 75% of the time, and LeBron drives to the basket like 70% of the time. Overall. But this year, I feel like LeBron. This year, the last 2 years, he's settling more. He's getting older, so it's more jump shots.
I think this year he's like right up there with like interior scoring. He's doing a lot, but I don't know if you care to know this, but AP stat of the night. So last night Giannis attempted 32 free throws in the last 32 free throws. Yeah, in the last 6 games. And you just said Giannis drives 75% of the time. LeBron, let's say 65, 70. In the last 6 games, LeBron has attempted 31.
That's crazy.
In the last season, so Giannis played 63 games. He attempted 772 free throws. LeBron James in the last 2 seasons, so that was only last season in 63 games. LeBron James in 111 games has attempted 663. So over 100 less free throws than Giannis.
That's crazy.
I mean, it's crazy how much he doesn't get calls for being LeBron James.
So
How many more points would he have right now?
But I also think, and I mean, you guys, I mean, I don't care about LeBron James. I don't watch a lot of his games, but you guys watch more than I do. But that's what I've seen in the last couple of years, and I'm saying the last 2 years, he has gotten older, right? So he's still built like a tank. He's still healthy. But he's not as fast as he was, when he was 25 years old, obviously, right? So he has, I think he's transitioned his game, right? And I love it because I think he's a terrible jump shooter where he takes more jump shots. Now he's been hitting them, you know what I mean? But then,
fast.
when it counts and to get his team to the next round, I love when he's taking these 3-pointers and misses several in a row. But he has, that's how I feel. Like, I feel like he's transitioned more. And when I see Giannis, I like Giannis as a person. He's an exciting, highlight reel now and then. But man, I get so irked with that guy at the free throw line. I think it's ridiculous what they let him get away with. And I know that's his thing. Like, what he does is goes to the free throw and he takes, I don't know what the rule is, but they don't enforce it with him. Like, I know it's something that he started doing. So because that was a big flaw in his game, right? His free throw shooting. So he worked on it, and I hate whoever fucking coached him and it's like, hey, why don't you take a minute before you fucking shoot a free throw and see what happens? Because I hate how it slows down the game. I think it's stupid, man. And I like Giannis outside the court. I think he's a pretty good guy, but man, that fucking, like, I think that's ridiculous what they're letting him do at the free throw line. Like, I don't understand it. I don't get why they're letting him do that shit, man.
Star treatment.
But it's stupid. But to wrap up real quick on the banner, you got me. See, sidetracked me, Adon, with fucking LeBron James, man. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any issue. I'm surprised how many people are shitting on it. It was announced. Everybody was on a level playing field. Everybody knew this tournament was going on.
It's because he won it. Let's be honest. If someone else would have won it, I wouldn't say they would make a big deal of it, but I thought they would, fucking applaud him. But Lakers win it and they want to shit on it. So that's.
I thought it was weird. I think they won it. If they get a banner, they could do whatever they want and display it. I think I agree with you guys. I think they should all be in on this, make it a big deal. And then we'll eventually have, hopefully it's not this year. I pray to God, where you have the in-season tournament, the in-season MVP, and then you have the finals MVP and the NBA MVP and and then the winning the finals. And if it's all the same team, that's pretty dope. Yeah, I think that's pretty dope. That's never been done before, And I pray to God that it does not happen this year. Like, it just cannot. Like, I hope somebody else, like, that would be.
LeBron's not gonna get the MVP this season, man.
He deserves it though.
All right, so switching gears real quick. So we cover a little bit of NBA. Now going into the NFL. Now that is not my forte. I know you guys are more dug into the NFL, so I was just curious to hear. Putting you guys on the spot, we're gonna start with you, Sal.
What the fuck?
All our listeners out there, where everybody's at right now and going into the playoffs pretty much here. Sal, if you had to put some serious money that meant something to you, who would you put money on to win the Super Bowl as everything stands right now, barring injury and all that stuff? And we all know that anything, that could change everything. But let's just say if everything kind of relatively stayed the same, health-wise.
I'm gonna write down what Sal's gonna say. Okay, hold on. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna write it down.
No, because I'm the fly. Don't fucking. This doesn't count. This doesn't count.
Okay, now go ahead and say it.
No, what are you doing? Are you putting me in a spot? This is kind of like
No,
you got to
I'm
revisit it
gonna
because
guess.
I didn't think about this. You know, I didn't think
No,
about
it's a
that.
little unfair because we don't even know where the seedings are and the standings and who's going to have home field, and somebody could go on a really there's like 3 games left, I think, or 4 games left in the season. I don't even fucking know.
Yeah,
What is
four
it?
games. They played
4
17.
games. So anything could happen. The team
Yeah.
that's in there right now could just like fucking their quarterback could go get hurt. But anyway, just so we're not gonna hold you to it, Sal. Just like
Reading your
what
mind.
you're
Reading your mind.
what you're seeing right now. Who do you think? Who would you put money on with the information you have available right now, knowing that it's gonna change and
Shit, I wish I had time to. Man, okay, man. It's so. I mean, everybody. I mean, the safe pick. Well, the way the Niners are playing is you want to go with the Niners. You know,
right
at plus 200-300, whatever it is. Not a lot
No,
of
you-
money. You want to pay some money.
You see
That's
it?
the only part you want.
No,
Huh?
it blurs out. What does it say? Fuck. It's blurry. Oh, 49ers. Yeah.
Oh, that's a safe bet. Yeah, that's definitely. I mean, because they're the overwhelming. You know, I said that probably last week. You know, they just, you know, like when we were talking about Purdy, because the defense, they got offensive, they got playmakers. It's, you know, I'm not sold on the Eagles, Cowboys, same thing. I mean, I think, man, the sleeper again. I think I said again because I picked him before a couple years ago. But the way the Bengals are playing right now, I think that's another one right now. That might be another dark. Yeah, you heard it. Yeah. That's the
why
one that's coming out, and I might be drinking the Kool-Aid right now. You know, I
that's
just
why I'm
want to
asking
see.
you, man. Because that's what happens every year. I feel
Wait.
like somebody gets hot, like right now,
Yeah.
and
That's what
fucking-
matters. That's people think, well, look at their record. Who gives a shit the record? It's like, look at the last month. They made the playoffs. You know, it could have been a different team. It could have been like fucking hurt, you know, the beginning of the year, and then now they're healthy, or they got new playmakers, or whatever the case is. You know, like what matters is like what have you done lately? You know, not fucking what you did. Fucking. So I don't know, like the way Bengals are playing right now.
With Browning,
He's
you'll take
playing
the
lights
Bengals with
out,
Browning.
man.
He is.
A lot of people like, hey man, a lot of people, and that's what happens. You get a quarterback in there that no one's prepared for. There's not much scouting reports on this guy, and then it's not, you know, they all catch up. They might catch up to him next year.
Like Foyles, what was his name? From the
Nick Foles?
Eagles? Yeah.
Nope. But man, I don't even know. Let's see what. Let me see. What's I'm interested to see what the Bengals odds are. Let's go real quick.
You know, Luis, I picked up that guy Browning just so that our competition couldn't pick him up.
Perfect. No, I love that, man.
We have 4 quarterbacks on our roster. I was trying to pick up Flacco too, but that Oso's Nasty's the number 1 seed. He picked him up because he's got Geno Smith. So I was trying to block that guy. I was like, fuck, I'm gonna take any quarterback.
I gotta put a cap next year on how many.
Oh, what the fuck?
Oh,
you should have picked up Flacco to block that guy. Because he doesn't have a good quarterback.
Dude, look at that. Right now, to win the championship, plus 15,000. Plus 15,000 for the Bengals to win the Super Bowl.
I mean the Bengals.
So I don't, and I said, what do you guys think? I mean, I think
I see what you're saying. Like
they got what's other? They just got this running back that just came back. That's been pretty good. So that's gonna help Mixon with what's his name? Brown? Is it Brown? Bengals.
Who the running back or the quarterback?
No, the running back. So they got Mixon and they got what's his name? Chase Brown. He was hurt. He came back the last couple of days. What did he do last week? I think he had like 80 receiving yards, 20 something rushing. Where am I at? Yeah, rushing he had 25, 80 receiving. So he's gonna help Mixon with the workload. And then you got Chase, you got Boyd, Higgins. What's the tight end?
Higgins been playing like shit.
Yeah. Why? How would you know? And then let's look at what the schedule looks like. Hold on, this is fucking.
You guys know the Bills are favorite over the Cowboys?
That's fucking crazy.
They got demolished.
That's a good pick, Sal. That's a good pick.
So they're 7-6. I don't know what the wild card. As long as they get in, they're gonna be hot.
You just got to get in.
Let's see. They got. They're hosting Vikings this week. Then they go to Pittsburgh, and then they go to KC, and then they finish the schedule, and then they host Brown. So it's not gonna be easy.
No,
but if they go in there, they get back, and if they could get in the playoffs and beating those teams, then they're strong enough, and they're gonna get June. The little Brownie kid's gonna believe in himself. Who knows? He said they got that running back coming. Man, it's plus 15,000. Wow.
That the official.
It's not the official. Let me think about it. This is one thing, and it's funny that you mentioned. Like, I've been thinking about this for the last couple of days. Like, man, and the only thing because maybe I just fell in love with no, maybe that's a strong word, but maybe a few years ago I had picked the going. They were in the playoffs already, and I had picked them to be my Super Bowl winners, but they were like a plus 2,000. They were in the playoffs already, and they were like a play away from winning, from pulling it off. That was fun, but right now, I mean, you get them at a much better. Much better odds. I mean, plus 50,000. But I said they say it's still a long shot. You still got to get in. But I mean, what else is in there?
Yeah, you want to keep on riding your Bengals pick, but I mean, the Ravens are better.
I don't know. They just got a fucking. Oh no, that fucked up my parlay, man. Last week, I had that one going, and then they gave up there was a punt return.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's how they won. Yeah.
But yeah, the Rams came over from the West Coast and came over here, and they almost took him from them. So I don't know. I mean, the Rams, but I'm not sold on their offense, man. I'm not.
So what I'm hearing from you, Sal, on the spot, without getting a chance to really research it, kind of Bills, possibly.
Bengals.
Fuck, I keep saying Bills. I have Bills in my head. Bengals. Okay, so Sal, what about you, Adan?
Dark horse. That's what.
No, he didn't say dark horse. He says who do you think is gonna win? Not a dark horse. This could be the year of the ERS teams, 49ers and 76ers. It could be the year. I don't know if I trust the 76ers to stay healthy enough.
Yeah.
Maxi's too young. But I think right now, if everybody stays healthy, and I was wrong. Last week I said it was gonna be the Eagles and the Ravens in the Super Bowl. Yeah. But the Eagles look like shit against the Cowboys. So I think right now 49ers look like the best team in the NFL. And Luis, I also wrote down your pick.
Well, you wrote by two. Mine was 49ers, but man.
I read it, but I got Luis's answer.
I'll give you both. I gave my winner. I gave my 49ers and I gave you a dark horse.
Huh?
I gave you a dark horse and my pick a winner.
The one I'm going to say right now, or the one I said before?
No, the one you're going to say right now. Who
really? Okay.
Winning the Super Bowl?
Or I want to shock you guys because I don't. But I'm glad this is being recorded because I think this is what's going to happen. Everybody fucking hates them. They're choke artists.
It's not going to be them.
The Dallas Cowboys are going to win the Super Bowl this year, boys. And they're just flying under the radar. I think they're the second best team after the 49ers, but there's so much attention. Who did you write? I can't see it.
Close. Pretty close.
Yeah, that'd be my second pick, but I'll go with the Cowboys. I don't like the Cowboys. I'm not I don't like their fan base. They haven't done anything since we were fucking in high school. So, but I don't know, man. They just, I think they've come through with they have a tough schedule. That's why I kept saying Bills. They got the Bills. They got the Dolphins. They're undefeated at home. I think they're one of the few. They might be the only fucking team that's undefeated at home. But then I think the next 4 games, I think 3 are away. So, if they keep it together, I think they're gonna be. And I think they're on a 5-game winning streak too right now, currently. So maybe I'm wrong. Fuck.
Didn't they just lose to the 49ers like 4 or 5 weeks ago?
Let's see. Fuck. Maybe I'm wrong. Not changing my pick though.
Because you had the Niners and the Ravens.
Right. So I like the Ravens. Like I think I just like the Ravens.
I
No
don't.
man.
I don't
Dallas is
trust
on a
Lamar.
5-game.
I don't trust Lamar in the playoffs yet. He's. I like him a lot. I like Lamar a lot, but
Yeah.
if you guys watch the games, he seems to struggle to close out close games, in my opinion.
So currently, Dallas is on a 5-game winning streak. San Francisco's on a 5-game winning streak, and then after that, it's fucking Baltimore on a 3-game winning streak, and then
Oh, shit.
everybody else is all over the place. They're in between 3, 2. So those are, to me, those are the 3 like hottest teams right now to finish off the season. And I don't know, man. I think I'm going with Dallas. I don't have a lot of faith in Baltimore and San Francisco. Like Sal said, they're just a safe pick. Unfortunately, in the NFL, whoever is the safe pick, never ends up fucking
Good
coming
point.
through, man.
That's a good point.
So we got Bengals. We got.
I thought I said 49ers. I gave you
Oh,
both
my
the
bad.
49ers and the dark horse.
And then Adon, you said.
Yeah, Niners.
Niners. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go with the Cowboys. And the Cowboys choke in the fucking playoffs all the time, man. So
Dark horse, Rams.
That's a good one too. That's a good one.
Luis, you have a dark horse?
Miami.
There we go. Yeah, hell yeah.
But they're super dark horse because I could see them very easily fucking getting bounced too.
Damn, Bengals are and FanDuel. Their Bengals are plus 20,000.
Look at it. Sal's thinking about it. He's like,
which one?
Let me throw a shekel over there. I'm Bengals.
Yeah, that one and the Rams. That's the one I was thinking about. They're plus 12,000.
I think the Rams, man. Like
that's something we should do for the next one. Let's see. I mean, we'll meet up this week. This week. We'll know what happens by week 15. After that, look at your the favorites who you think is gonna like where they're gonna end up. Look at their schedule, the remaining schedule. There's 3 games left. See what after this week though, I'm saying.
Oh,
and then
okay,
and then we'll see what the record is, where the standings are.
Yeah.
Come up with your own playoff tree.
Okay.
And then figure out what your playoff tree, because maybe like say I might like the Bengals, but they might have a fucking tough road. They might have to go through Ravens and Dolphins, and you know what, I like them, but like, dude, this is gonna be a stretch. They're gonna be, where are they gonna be playing at? Are they gonna win the division? They're gonna have home field advantage.
Right.
So that might be fun. Nice little takes. But
perfect, guys. Well, believe it or not, I mean, I think we're pushing up an hour, right? Does that sound about right at that?
Yeah.
So I don't even know where the time goes, but I just wanted to wrap up real quick. I don't want to exclude you, Sal, by any means. I was hoping Adon could share a little bit. I know that last Saturday was the Devin Haney Regis fight. Me and Sal were not in attendance. Sal, I think you were busy, so I don't even think you had a chance to watch it.
No, I didn't.
I did. I'm such an idiot. Like I fucking signed up for DAZN, and I'm gonna cancel that shit. But the only way you could watch it was to subscribe to these fuckers. But Adon, if you could just share your thoughts. What was your experience watching it live? What was the crowd like out there? Just want to hear from you. Like, what were your thoughts?
The atmosphere was pretty cool. I'm pretty sure it's nothing like going to a Mayweather or Canelo or something like that fight, but people were into it. Haney's from the Bay Area. A lot of the place was packed, which was surprising.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know that, because we all talk about how boxing is kind of like on the downhill and it's losing its but I think because it's live, people like to see it. Other than one fight, the one right before Haney and Regis, the fights were actually pretty good, competitive, exciting, a bunch of punches. And then Haney just put on a show. I was looking for more from Regis because of all the shit talking he did, especially some of the stuff that you were telling us, Luis. But Haney's just too good. But it was impressive. Even Dad was just crazy to see how easy he controlled the entire fight. Like I don't think he lost one round. It's hard. That screen is huge. Remember, Sal? Like in the Chase Center.
Yeah, it is.
But I was I was focused on the ring, because that looking up at the screen, like, well, that's like the same shit. If I was home watching it, on my TV, that's what it looks like a fucking huge TV.
Yeah.
It was really cool. I was talking to Simon that went with me. I'm like, I hope San Francisco becomes like a fucking boxing hub, and they did well with the ticket sales, and they start bringing some more boxing, because I would definitely love to go watch it live more.
Nice. Love to hear that. Any thoughts, Sal? I know you didn't get to watch the fight, but just from little clips you saw or any feedback.
Man, I'll be honest with you, I totally forgot. I haven't watched any of the clips until.
Fair
And I
enough.
told myself I was gonna
It wasn't-
watch it. I was gonna come back. Then fucking life happened, worked, and I totally forgot till you guys just brought it up. I'm like, shit, you're right.
I get it.
So, man, I try to block it out right now. Like, I don't think I heard who won. I mean, I think I know who won, but
Haney.
I don't know the results or
Gotcha. Okay. So on the and I could be wrong, you know what I mean? But I feel like I would rather go to a fight like that than I know it sounds stupid. I would obviously go to a Canelo fight, but I think Canelo fight and those these big they attract more casual fans, people that are just there because they're there at the fight because that's where everybody's at, you know. And I think a fight like Haney versus Regis is more boxing fans. So all day long, I would rather go. I mean, but trust me, I would still go to a Canelo fight. You know what I mean? But like the atmosphere wise, that's how I was just, and I think boxing, like Sal has said this many times, they're their own worst enemies. Like, there's no reason why, they shouldn't. It has to only be in New York and fucking Las Vegas, where they have these big boxing fights. I bet you if they brought them to Chicago too, they would probably sell out. And I don't know, there's so many politics behind it, but I wish that they would expand more because I think there is a boxing community and they would go out and see it at a reasonable price too. I don't know if it was a ripoff or not, like it was expensive or not, but when you go to Vegas, you're paying like sometimes up to $1,000 or more than that for a fucking ticket. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For a Ryan Garcia fight or a fucking Tank Davis or Canelo fight. But real quick on the fight, I was surprised. I thought Regis was gonna be more of a warrior. That he's just a puncher. I knew that Haney was just so far ahead of him, skill wise, boxing IQ wise. I still thought Regis was going to be able to at least do something. The one thing that I do, even though Haney put out, he pitched the shutout, maybe except the first round where there wasn't a lot of action. Somebody could give it to Regis because I mean, it's not like Haney did anything in the first round anyway. But the one thing that I don't understand about Haney is he hurt Regis a couple times and would not finish him, and that I get it. You're comfortable. You want to be safe. You got to respect Regis because sometimes these guys are used to getting hurt, and then that's when they catch you, right? But eventually you're gonna fight Tank Davis. You know what I mean? And Tank Davis can box too. So it just drives me crazy. Like Tank Davis, if he hurts somebody, he's not holding back. You know what I mean? And Tank Davis could box too, but he could fucking knock people out too. So the only thing that concerns me about Haney, I know he's not a knockout guy, but there was 2 times in that fight where he hurt Regis. And I think if he would have got him for the kill, he would have knocked him out. Now, yeah, you might get hit too, but there's a thing of being too cautious too. So that's the only thing that concerns me about Haney. I hope somebody works with him hope his team works with him on that, because it's great that you're winning every fight by decision and by majority. But when you start fighting harder competition too, like, you might have to knock somebody out now and then too. Like you can't let it go to the scorecards all the time.
It could that could come from his corner though, or his trainer, right? Maybe that's the way they want him to fight. Maybe if it was up to Haney, if he sees somebody hurt, he would go at him. But it could be the trainer that and you don't want to, because I've seen Canelo do that a little bit too. It depends on the competition. I think so. Regis does have a better knockout ratio than Haney, but it didn't seem like he was hurting him. So that's a couple of things that we noticed too. And then we wanted Regis to just go for it as well, especially the last 3 rounds. The championship rounds. Like, man, you're down. I think even it looked like the corner went and told Regis that if you don't throw punches, or his trainer or somebody
His trainer was,
if you do something, we're gonna throw in the towel.
He told him like towards the end. He's like, if you're
you're the one. I think you're the one that said that. That's right. You were watching the fight, so you said it. But like, he was never in danger because Haney wasn't like trying to get him out beyond knockout. He was just happy outboxing him. But Regis never went at it either. And it could be that Haney probably punches harder than we think, or he couldn't find an opening or something. But those were the 2 things that we said too. Like, hey, we would hope that Haney will go for it, and the Regis would, you're losing anyway, so just go for it.
Yeah, and I think it's that old adage with boxing. You don't see it happen a lot, but when guys mentally get defeated, you know what I mean? Like, it was very early on where Regis was like, I think he just himself was like, I can't do anything against this guy. I can't. I'm just getting popped with his fucking jab on. Everywhere I go, I get hit. I can't even get close to him. So it's like a mental thing where he just like was like, I can't, skill-wise, I can't fucking do anything. But I agree with you. Like, you got to have that mentality where like, fuck it. Let me just fucking see if I get, you know what I mean? Like, I got to just get. And he did it like in round 12 for like 30 seconds, where he started kind of pushing him around and trying to swing, but it was too late. But anyway, I thought, I'm excited. I hope that for this year, 2023 was an awesome year for boxing. It was amazing. I hope for 2024, I hope we get Canelo Benavidez. I hope we get fucking Tank Davis, Haney, Ryan Garcia and Rolly. That'll be entertaining hype. But I mean, the fight itself will be, apart from the other ones. But if we can get Canelo Benavidez and fucking Haney and Tank, that'd be pretty solid, boys.
Canelo Crawford, what do we get those 2?
That'd be crazy. I could see them. I could see Crawford doing that. I don't know if Canelo will do it.
I think Joshua Wilder are fighting.
Yeah.
Keith Thurman is going to come back to the ring. Anyway, there should be some good ones next year.
Usyk is fighting, Tyson Fury next year too,
That's right.
It should be entertaining too. But that's it, guys. I know we're pretty much out of time. We ran through a lot of stuff. Before you sign us up, Sal, I just wanted to leave it open for you guys. Any rants, anything we didn't get a chance to touch on that was top of mind? Sal, we'll start with you.
Suppose nobody touched on it. Nobody want to talk about the whole Ohtani deal.
Shit, I forgot about that.
Dang.
That was on my list, man. No, we got to talk about that. We got to extend it for at least for another, couple minutes.
Yeah. I mean, what's it take?
Yeah,
I mean, it's smart. I mean, I don't know they could pull it off, something like that. I mean, I don't know the whole rules that you could fucking pay that little or take it. But then we heard it before, with like Bobby Bonilla, and he's still getting paid right now, but I didn't know you could defer that much out. Like maybe you average it out, but I don't know. It could work. I mean, I was going to work for them in the short term because now you have that money. I mean, there's no cap anyways, but you got that money to get other players, other pitchers, whatever they go after. I don't know how it's going to affect them 10 years from now when they got to pay them. But then is that money on the books, off the books, or?
That's funny. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, what if he gets traded or caught? I don't know how that works because it's a long ass contract. You know what I mean? What if this guy gets hurt year 3? Like, and I don't know. I don't know how that works, but it sounds like the Dodgers are on the hook for paying this. So,
like 10 years for the $2 million a piece, and after that, $68 million, right, per year for the next year. But like, like, are you going to contend? Can you contend during that time when you're going to pay? I'm sure they can. Maybe 10 years from now, fucking everything goes up more. Inflation, they ain't nothing. But yeah, I was surprised. It makes sense. But
So let me ask
you
you
still
guys
get
this.
endorsements and all this shit. But
I did forget, and I know a lot of the concentration has been on his contract, and I get that because it was just this ridiculous, massive deal. But we all knew that he was going to get a lot of money. But let me ask you, starting with Don real quick to wrap up here. So, Dodgers signed Ohtani, and I know we haven't had a chance to really look at it, but does that make them adding this guy? Does that make them World Series contender, do you think, with the way that they're set up right now? Like, what do you think? What does your gut say on that?
They're World Series contenders without Ohtani, right? They had like the best record, or was it the Braves? They had the first or the second best record in the National League without him, and it's not like they're losing bets or Kershaw's getting surgery or whatever. So this just adds more to their dominance, at least in the regular season. And they did win a World Series, like 2 years ago. So yeah, I think it just continues their window.
What about you, Sal?
he's saying I'm gonna echo the same thing he said, but I mean, but it could be a liability. I said this before, like if he goes down, you're down a Cy Young caliber pitcher, a slugger. He's gonna have to play the outfield, right? Because there's no DH.
All right. Right.
So until that changes, they're probably gonna change the rule for this guy now, because we can't have this guy. We gotta protect. But so then you're gonna be out there roaming the outfield, or that's one thing he plays, right? Outfield.
I think so.
Yeah.
Does he play first base?
Well, he might play first base too. The point is he's gonna be out there on defense.
Put him out in right field.
I think that's what he does most of the time. Right field, no, right field, center field. No, I forgot. The point is he's gonna be out there playing, position. They're gonna be down a position player, a solid one, because he's not like a defensive liability. That guy's pretty good. He got an arm. A slugger. 40, possibly 50 home runs a game. And then like a Cy Young caliber pitcher. So like, you better hope he stays healthy. You gotta fucking take. I think I called this out a couple years ago. So if he doesn't show up for the playoffs, he's hurt and
Go Toddy. Go Toddy.
So to wrap up, man, I think baseball is one of those crazy sports where your payroll could dictate that you win a World Series. You could buy a World Series.
Uh-huh.
A lot of teams have done it in the past, but then smaller market teams have ended up winning the World Series too. And I think that's probably, maybe I'm talking out of my ass, but I think it's more common in baseball than in other sports. Where small market teams end up winning the championship, not necessarily just the biggest payroll. So now you sign this guy, and the Dodgers are in the process of signing other, pitchers and adding more pieces to it. So now the pressure's on them, because if they don't win a World Series after signing this guy, I mean that's a bust, man. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's a bust, and so I'm interested. I'll be definitely tuning in next year and seeing, what the hell they do. In terms of the season. Hey, stop. It's fucking dog, man. God damn it. Fighting the shit. All right. So anyway, thanks, Sal, because I almost forgot. That was like the third thing I wanted to talk to, and then I got sidetracked.
Big news.
We pretty much touched on everything. If you want to sign us off, man, unless you guys have anything else to add.
Don, you got anything?
No, I'm good.
Let me see here. I think I erased it already. Thought I had something right now. Give me 1 second. Fuck.
Yeah, man. Take your time.
Hold on. Let me get this out real quick.
I wish there was a filter on YouTube, though, that you could, like, how you could block people's numbers and shit? I wish you could block a person so you don't get any fucking videos from that individual. Because I don't like watching Stephen A. Smith talk at all.
He's annoying.
And then sometimes I want to hear what Shannon has to say, and so I click on that video and I just listen to Shannon. But then I get fucking videos from Stephen A. Smith without Shannon. Like, like I want to have a fucking algorithm or something that I could put in there. Like, I want Shannon. I don't want Skip. I want first thing goat every morning.
That's all I want.
And you guys know that Cam Newton's podcast is called Fourth and One.
Yeah, I saw that. I heard it earlier today. Hey, that's pretty close. That's pretty
we
close.
gotta put the pad on it.
Gotta get Draymond. We gotta get Draymond to get this guy in a headlock. Like, fuck off.
All right, I'm gonna do it real quick. I don't know how I did last week. I forgot to kick, but I got a 5-pick parlay. I'm gonna have the Lions over the Broncos, Saints over Giants, Dolphins over Jets, got KC over Patriots, Niners over Cardinals at plus 242. Nothing too sexy, but plus 242. Go drop $100 on it, guys.
Go jump on it. I like that. That's good picks. Oh man, before you sign us off, Sal, that's another 2 minutes real quick. We'll start with you, Adon. Did you guys the end of the Kansas City game? The Bills versus the Chiefs. The Bills the Chiefs get called, and then Patrick Mahomes goes on the big. Anyway, he gets upset. So Adon, did you care about that? Did that change your perception on Patrick Mahomes? Is he just being competitive? Is he throwing a tantrum? What are your thoughts on Patrick Mahomes after you saw him do that?
It seemed like it was the emotions of the moment, because he's always really calm in the press conference after the games. He's been really good about not throwing players under the bus, like he's never blaming the wide receivers. And I tried my best to not take into account players' personalities or personal lives or opinions, views. Like I try not to care. Like I don't watch news conferences. I don't care what they think about the fucking world. I just want to care about how they play whatever game they play. So I didn't pay that much. I didn't watch the whole videos about him, saying he was screaming at the referees. I didn't watch his news conference. I just kind of what I heard from some of the talk shows, but it doesn't change my opinion of him, because I only want to see them as players. And I support whatever, whatever stand they want to make, and all that stuff's cool. But I don't want Dad to I don't want to take that into account when I'm just looking at players. Because Tom Brady, I don't agree with his political views, but I think he's a fucking badass player. Anyway, just that.
All right, fair enough. What about you, Seth?
So what was the question again? What do you think about his reaction? Or
what do you think about Patrick Mahomes?
He was crying. I mean, fucking, if you saw the replay, Tony, he was lined outside. Like, what are you crying about? What the fuck? Like, he was clearly over the line of scrimmage, and you still want to bitch about that? Like, they just fucking. That's one thing they say. If you're upset about a bad call, I get it. And it's not. I don't consider crying. If you're upset, you got to vent. But I'm sure he saw the play, and if he didn't, and if he didn't take the time to look it over, then hey, fucking shame on him. But he was clearly on line, and you still want to bitch about it, then I don't know what to tell you, man. Like,
it was clear, but I think they're saying that they give him a warning most of the time. I've seen, wide receivers like point over to the referee and asking them if they're on site. I've seen that all the time, but this guy didn't. He did not point. He didn't ask the referee, and it was clearly offside. I don't know if that doesn't. I don't see an advantage of it, but it is against the rules. So
sure, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. It made me at least side eye Patrick Mahomes a little bit. And I'll tell you why. Because I think we touched last week. We talked about Kansas City a little bit, and I think that they're feeling the pressure. They won the Super Bowl last year, right? And I think their expectations was to repeat, right? And I think they're feeling the pressure, and man, when everything's going great, that's great. But once you're
Yeah.
faced with real adversity and people are shitting on you and pointing your fingers, then that's when you kind of see somebody's true character. And Patrick Mahomes, I think he knows that guy was off. Like it was very obvious it was offsides. Penalties get called all the time, and for him to lose it on a regular season game, that they needed that type of play to even, like for them to get ahead. I think it's just him feeling the pressure and being upset and frustrated that it's another loss. It's more pressure on him. And then he started talking shit a little bit about his teammates, being vague. Like you do that at the locker room. So I heard him in the press conference kind of saying like some people are more into their social media, like kind of saying like we got to get focused, But that's like locker room stuff. Like don't do it. So I think as long as they went out, I don't think anybody will remember it. Oh man, it kind of made me look at him a little side-eyed, like, oh man, this guy's, because guys, we know that Kansas City has gotten, just like any other popular team, they get calls in their favor, and sometimes some bad calls go against you. Sometimes some calls go for you. I don't know. So it just, it made me, kind of look at him a little sideways, just because right now is the time for him to step up as a leader when they're feeling all this pressure and adversity. And all I saw him do was throw a tantrum and then try to point fingers at his teammates. So
I did think about that earlier too. And after on Sunday, I didn't think about that. But yeah, you're right. Like and this was the week before too. Like, hey, this is pressure. It's not, like you might make the playoffs. I mean, it's not a shoo-in, right? They're not shoo-in to make the playoffs right now, right? So
Broncos are only one game behind.
Yeah, imagine they can't. Broncos start off bad. If they get caught up and catch him and pass him up, it's I mean, the Broncos have a tough matchup. I think they play the Lions. We'll see.
According to you, they're gonna lose.
Yeah, they are.
last week you had Ravens over Rams. Cool, got it right. You had 49ers over Seahawks. Got it right. You had Saints over Panthers. Boom, got it right. Oh, even though when you gave the picks on Sunday, you picked the Panthers for some reason. But on your parlay, you say Saints. But then you had Dolphins over Titans. Boom. Parlay failed.
Fucking Dolphins, man. Fucking Jesus Christ. No, at the end, I was like, you know what? Let me mix that. I put money on it, but let me pick. I was thinking like, maybe the Carolinas do for fucking a win. My way of jinxing them so they could lose, because if they win, I'm right, and if I'm wrong, then that means they lost, and you keep that number one pick, baby. So
there you go.
Gotta play mind game, baby. Jedi mind tricks. But yeah, man, what the fuck? Dude, it was funny. I was watching the game, and I left. I got home, and I saw the fucking score, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And they fucking scored 2 touchdowns like in 2 minutes or some shit like that, or 3 minutes. I was like, what? I was like, motherfucker, like, what happened? Like, did you do? I fucking lost, man. Yeah, that was a pretty bad beat, but hey, it is what it is. Right there, so close. So close.
Then we all had the Packers winning.
Man, and I saw that, I didn't think about that. Man. I was watching the game, and when they were scoring, the way they were celebrating, man, these guys are celebrating too much. Like they were in the Super Bowl. Like the group celebrations they were doing. I'm like, bro, like, can you focus on the game? I remember thinking about it twice, but like, no, they can't blow this. Yeah. I left, I got home, because I was like, man, they're done. And I saw the fucking score, like, and when I read the score, I thought, oh, the Dolphins won. It didn't tell me the register. Like, no, it's the other way around. I'm like, I had to turn on ESPN. Like, I know they're talking about it, and I saw the highlights. Like, you motherfuckers! But it is what it is. So close, so close. What was the odds on that one? They give you with the plus what?
For the one for today?
No, the one that lost last week.
No, you didn't get. I didn't write down the odds. You probably gave it to us, but I didn't write it down. Yeah. I just write your picks.
Sorry, guys. I can't fucking. It's Dolphins. Don't blame me. Blame the Dolphins.
They should have won.
Yeah, I'm trying to pay your rent.
All right, man. I think solid show. So, Sal, if you could sign us off, man. I thought for sure we hit all the topics now.
I think we did. That's what we did. That's what I'm saying. The rule in the field stands. Another good, solid episode. Thank you guys for chiming in. Hopefully we get to see each other twice, at least twice next week. So stay tuned, fellas. Stay tuned. Goatees. Upon further review, the ruling on the field stands. This is the greatest sports podcast, First and Goat.